Yeah, thanks. In Venice. Hello, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm an Italian marketer entrepreneur. And today I have the great honor of introducing Terry Kyle, who is, I guess, one of the most well-respected person in SEO, in the SEO and advanced internet marketing space. And in all of the forums and all over the internet, whenever there is some like advanced topic or something like really some new frontiers about SEO, stuff like that, everyone is read the Terry Kyle blog or use the Terry Kyle tools. And so, Terry, welcome.
Thank you, Alex. Great to be here. Good afternoon. Nice to talk to you.
Hi. So, Terry, can you introduce us a little bit about your background and where did you start it? How did you start it? You told me that you were a copywriter.
Yeah. So back in the late 90s, I worked as a copywriter and creative director for ad agencies, working with accounts like Pepsi, Panasonic, IBM, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and companies like that. It sounds fun and kind of glamorous, but actually it was a horrible existence because you were very much stuck in a kind of master-slave mentality.
Terry?
Obviously, we may have had a video drop out there, but I'll keep going.
Yeah.
I'll just keep going, Alex. And obviously the web has been tremendous for we entrepreneurs because it massively lowers the cost of setting up and trying out new businesses and business ideas. So I worked a bit on the web when I was a copywriter. I did some other stuff. I came back to it in 2008 when I wrote a book about business ideas, like exciting new business ideas from around the world. It was sort of like I edited this big compilation of what I thought were really interesting and innovative kind of business ideas. And I'm still...
All of these business ideas came from the fact that you were bored at your copywriting life, or it was...
I was kind of doing other things then. I was teaching and working quite a bit in education. I'm sort of a bit of a born teacher, I guess. And technically I have a master's in teaching from Sydney Uni as well. But teaching in an actual school doesn't appeal to me at all for the reasons of bureaucracy, and I don't really like working with for other people in that kind of structure. It's just not for me. So yeah, I put together this book about all these really interesting business ideas because I think innovation is extremely important, whatever space you're working in. And that applies to what I do today in hosting, for example, with WordPress. But when I released that book, Alex, what I found was my assumption that internal traffic on Amazon would be enough to make me incredibly rich. But funnily enough, it turned out that wasn't quite the case. And in fact, what I needed was to rank my book page from Amazon in Google. And at that point, I did not see myself as an SEO guy. I knew literally nothing about SEO. But what I did do was I kind of committed to do whatever it took to learn the skills necessary and find out through a lot of my own testing and often combining things from different people, trying out new spin-off ideas of my own. And that kind of launched me into the SEO space, I think probably late 2008, somewhere in 2009. And since that time, I've kind of developed a lot of things. Like I had homepage backlinks.com back in 2010, and that was a huge kind of link rental service. It was very effective. And to this day, actually, you see a lot of those principles in PBNs being used to rank sites. And obviously, if you're serious about SEO today, knowing how to build, run, manage, host PBN sites is extremely important. So kind of from that, the book to the SEO, I branched into my own software tools, things like cloudboss.pro, which is for SEO hosting, Blue-Chip Backlinks for expired domain crawling, Wayback Rebuilder, which is rebuilding complete HTML sites from archive.org. And also I have an IM for traffic for about five-ish years, something like that. And that will be undergoing a big change in early 2017 as well. But I'm very interested in software-driven automation tools that can achieve things that really, if you needed to do them manually, would be physically impossible, and you'd probably want to kill yourself if you tried to do it manually. So I'm very interested in innovation in software and combining platforms as well. So things like API connectivity, I'm very, very interested in, and the tools that I work with are built very heavily on that. So really, whatever I'm involved in, I'm excited by innovation and software automation particularly.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you're talking about you have some news for 2017 that you want to.
Yeah, I mean, this will come out more, but in Traffic Planet, we want to add to the forum there of things like automation, but domain comparison shopping. So here for our PBNs in a normal week, for instance, we might buy 200 or more domains. And right at the time that we record this video, Namecheap, for example, you can bulk buy expired.info.us domains and these are very, very good, TrustFlow usually, pretty good domains for 88 cents each. So they've also got .org for $3. So if you're a guy working in this space and you need to buy that, we want to add a lot of this domain comparison and other kind of useful deals to Traffic Planet. Sort of like it's Black Friday every day at Traffic Planet, because we'll have a dedicated team scouring around looking for those great deals on all the things that we web entrepreneurs kind of need all the time.
Yeah, kind of makes you mad a little bit to try to find all of the dealers of domains and hosting, stuff like that. Really, you can spend days.
You're very time consuming.
Looking for those. And if you're building up a serious PBN, I guess you will need hundreds of them. So
I mean, if you can build a 100-site PBN for under $100 at 88 cents each, that's pretty incredible value. And in the past, I've spent back in the PageRank era, I think for one PR7 once, I paid $1,500 or $2,000 for one domain.
Yeah.
Actually, I still own it. It's still pretty good. But to think that now that you can just bulk up with like 88-cent domains or even $3.org domains is pretty incredible, and you can build PBN super fast. Yep.
And okay, so in the end, did you manage to rank the Amazon book?
Yeah, I got to number 2, and I was beating all these huge authority sites. And back then, and this kind of shows how much the SEO game in some ways has moved on. It was all a lot of forum profile backlinks.
Okay.
That have all these services and things around forum profiles, which have long since stopped being effective. So please, if you're listening, don't do that anymore. Do other stuff instead. And of course, back then you could have like just tons of exact match anchor text in your backlink. So if you want to rank for small business ideas, you just keep piling on the links with anchor text of small business ideas, and usually you'll rank for that, pretty quickly.
Yeah. So basically, old school SEO that doesn't work anymore. But because also in your forum and in your videos, you talk about the random ranking factor and the fact that Google many times is lying.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. They stretch the truth at times, and we prefer here. I have an SEO team of full-time researchers of 5 people here, so we can instantly test out any theory or statement by Google and find out, what is or isn't the case, for example. So that's really valuable. But I mean, my philosophy and mentality, Alex, is that I don't get attached to any individual domain or money site, particularly if I get a site gets penalized or hammered by Google. I tend to move on very quickly and just build 10 other sites in that niche, money sites. If an expired domain that I bought turns out to be toxic, I will dump it straight away, or just use it for Bing rankings, for example, because Bing can still have some value on the higher volume search terms. So I've kind of built a lot of methods around how to get around that random ranking factor, basically with brute force bulk testing. So we'll test out 5, 10, 20 potential money sites at once, see which ones Google likes, and then take off with those and build with those.
Yeah, when you guys go at the top level, like there is no forum, there is no blog, no person that you can take consultancy from. You just test, right? You have the guys, you have the domains, you have and you just test out what works, what doesn't, and then you.
Yeah, I mean, in my own training, I do share what doesn't work. So it's very tempting, and quite often I'll see like SEO guys will just pick out the highlights of what worked, and you don't know how many kind of negative results they had. But I always try to include those, so you get a fair, balanced kind of view of the difficulty of what you're facing. So the simple fact is that nothing works 100% of the time. And I'm convinced that Google has deliberately randomized the algorithm because it's always working against a repeatable, bulletproof, 100% foolproof methodology. So they've got to be constantly tweaking it there. We're in a kind of arms race in some respect with Google on that. So I do share those things that I find, and even stuff that to me is really exciting and promising but turns out to be a complete dud. I also share the findings of that, mainly so that people who are reading my stuff or my training don't waste time. It's all about my kind of core SEO philosophy is to rank as fast as possible, as high as possible, for as long as possible, as cheaply as possible, kind of with the fewest backlinks. And a quick example of that, sorry, Alex, is at the moment Wix are running that SEO Hero competition. So it's all about ranking for the search term SEO Hero. I'm not sure if you know about it. But the page of mine, I think it's about position 4 or 5 at the moment, which is terrykyle.com. Basically, up until a few days ago, only had backlinks from 2 sites that I own. It had links from Traffic Planet and from blog.terrykyle.com, but it was able to get that position because I built a lot of links from just 2 sites to that page around that term. And part of the point I'm trying to make there is you can be efficient with your assets.
From 2 referring domains, but more
links, yeah. So earlier today, I recorded a video for my training guys where I showed if you're familiar with the Majestic Million, which are the top 1,000,000 most popular sites according to Majestic, I took the top 20,000 sites, used Excel to find out on average how many links came from each domain to those top 20,000 sites. And for the top 10,000, almost 700 links from each domain that linked to it. Each domain linked to google.com or Facebook or CNN or whatever. Sometimes much more, but sometimes a bit less. On average, 700 times. When you move to
that was made to get authority, right? If you link out to...
The point is there, Alex, that you can get a lot more links out of your PBNs to your money sites, and that looks natural and viral. So a real-world case study might be CNN.com or money.cnn.com constantly links to the Federal Reserve in America, because the Federal Reserve keeps making statements about changes in policy or interest rates or whatever. So it looks completely natural and normal that they would keep linking to them. And when they do, with more links, there's actually still is more link value and more link juice. And what a lot of we SEOs do is kind of just have a PBN site. And we have one homepage link to the money site, and that's it. We move on.
Yeah, sure. That's what everyone does, right? They buy up 50 domains and they only link once.
Yeah. When you can actually put more like 10 links on each page going to the same money site, and you're going to see a significant boost in that.
I've never heard about it. That's a gem. Yeah. So also from the same page, only from the same domain, you're telling?
Same domain. So, for example, I've got a bit of an unfair advantage because Traffic Planet has like 50,000 indexed pages in Google. my blog, I'm not sure, maybe it's 100 or something like that. But where we've done comparative testing, and I put this into this video that I recorded earlier today, the target test sites, and we use Google Docs a lot for these, pages, Google Docs that had like 10 or 9 backlinks easily beat only had 1 backlink. So over and over, the pages or the target properties that have more links from the same page beat the properties that only have the 1 link. But what you can do is use an image link and a URL link and maybe a keyword related link, and then click here and all of that mashed into your text. And for that SEO Hero ranking that I've got at the moment, we're doing some PBN building now for that, by the way. But mostly it was just those 2 sites. So we have some pages that have like, 15 links going to that page, and we see an impact from that constantly. So if you think about this, Alex, you buy those domains for 88 cents each, and then you might do some rebuilding with archive.org, for example, and you stick 10 or 20 links on each page. And now you've just added like 500 links to your money site, all of which have some value to Google. And you're going to get a lot more punch out of that PBN site.
It's not true that Google, for example, if you put like 1 link from 1 page, Google values that 100%, and if they divide the value by 2 by the number of links. That's not true. Terry? You hear me?
Cheaper as well.
Yeah, I lost you a little bit on the connection then.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was a case of we saw what Google did on the SERP rather than listening to what they said.
Yeah, that's not true. No. Yeah.
They're not going to say, go and spam your...
Terry, I have a little bit of trouble hearing the last things you said. Do you hear me?
I can hear you, Alex. Yeah, you're good on my end, but I don't think you're getting me that well. My point was just, it's always a question of looking what Google does on the SERP rather than what they say.
Yeah, sure. Again, about testing.
No,
on these weeks SEO competition, do you think you have a good chance? But I mean, you're 4th already, right?
Somewhere there, like 4th or 5th. It's moving around a bit because we're at...
Terry?
Yep, I'm here.
The connection sometimes just drops. I don't know why.
It's Google. They're interfering with us. They don't want this information getting out.
But I got these parts, no problem. So yeah, on the Wix, how are you approaching that? So with only 2, you only had 2 domains referring to this site that you're trying to rank in Wix, right?
Sorry, say again?
You only have 2 main domains linking to this site that you're ranking, trying to rank for this Wix competition, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
now we've started.
Very huge sites.
Yes.
And as soon as you will add PBNs, I mean, I think other guys will have tough competition against you. I guess.
Because we might throw 300 or 500 domains at it.
500 domains ready to link.
I'm not sure if you heard my last thing there, Alex. You there?
Yeah, I hear you, but sometimes I don't know why the signal isn't that great.
Okay. Do you need me to repeat anything there?
Yeah, I mean the last thing you said.
So yeah, now we'll add PBNs, but when we do that, we'll add a lot of links on each PBN to that site.
Okay. So how many links are you going to point from each single PBN to this website?
Probably thousands.
Thousands per domain?
Yep.
And how many pages does each
we can add hundreds on each one.
100? Yeah, you just add pages, and then from those pages you go on and you link. I guess you're not going to have writers, because otherwise their hands will be on fire to write all of that stuff. You're gonna use some kind of spinning technique, right?
Yeah, we don't. We have other methods, which I'd love to share, but if I did share them, they'd be very quickly countermeasured by Google.
Yeah, I have one method that I can share with the audience, which is basically, at least for my IT websites, what you do is basically you take stuff from other languages and you translate it.
Yep.
And then you fix it up a little bit. And I guess that's not counted as duplicate content. And we can do that, I mean, because we are taking stuff from the US market, google.com, and we are bringing it to google.it. And that basically, again, isn't counted as duplicate content, at least. And then you tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, and you can always just put it in inverted commas, fragments of it into Google, and just see if anything's coming up.
Yeah.
But it should be right. We don't use that particular method, but in theory should be fine. Always subject to checking it. Yep.
Yeah, if you just have to, I mean, to do the check on Google, you just take a slice of text, right? And if you Google it and it appears, you don't have to to fuck with it, because you're gonna be penalized. But otherwise, it's fine, yeah. And it's a very, very good technique. Another one is OCR from old stuff that I found out to be really great working. You take old magazines and stuff and use OCR programs, and then you grab down stuff. And I don't think Google ever trying to be able to. And I mean, they're doing that with Google Books, but of course they do not have all of the magazines inside, and even all of the books, for sure.
Yeah, I'll give a
That's another thing we can.
One method, not our main method, but one method we use. So Google's view is that it, unless it's YouTube videos, because it's making money out of ad impressions from YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So if you have pages based on YouTube videos, typically they will get indexed, but you need quite a few videos on those pages in order to get indexed.
So you're only going to rank.
Let's give the green flag to YouTube videos.
So pages with only YouTube videos in it?
Yeah, but you need a lot. You need quite a few. So, you know, if you're working with like 15 or 20 YouTube videos on a page, that's a pretty good place to go. Yeah. You'll probably find that'll get indexed pretty reasonably. If it's got links, like from the main page of that PBN, or there's an intermediary resources page which is linked from the home page, and then that links, the resources page links to all those inner pages with videos.
Sure.
That can work as well.
Yeah, get it.
So, Google is quite hypocritical there. Hates duplicate content unless it's its own YouTube videos that it's making money from ad impressions from.
Okay, I get it. So if you grab stuff from YouTube, like, I mean, you write down the stuff, I mean, the recordings from YouTube, and you write that down as a post, that's not good. But if you put only videos on the pages, then you can rank them.
Well, you're using them for PBN pages with links to your money site, and provided that there's you've got a connection link-wise from the home page to that new inner page with the videos, you should be fine.
Sure.
But you just create the new pages, and they're like orphan pages with no link from the home page, even via a resources page list of links. There must be a link connection from the home page.
Sure. So do you want to talk a little bit about your tools that you develop one for one? I mean, give a general overview about those tools. So you're very much, I get, like, looking at your tools, I get that you're very, very much into PBNs, right? Because every single tool that Terry Kyle has developed covers one specific area of PBL building or maintain.
Yeah.
So maybe you can give a general overview and then we can go deep down on each of them.
Yeah, I'll just talk about two in particular because I think these are the most useful for SEO guys. Yeah. So blue chip backlinks is essentially, it's not the only one, but I think there's maybe about half a dozen, but I've tried to build the most tools at the lowest price with the most functionality in it. I'm all about value, I think, I hope. And basically there's a thing on the web called link rot. So what that means is over the life of the internet, many big authority sites like Wikipedia or CNN or whitehouse.gov have linked to websites that no longer have an owner. So like I have a bunch of domains that have whitehouse.gov backlinks, for example, because whitehouse.gov at one time linked to this little some association in Ohio or whatever, and they stopped functioning, 7 years ago. So the link still exists, and the domain is not owned. And this is completely different to getting into a domain auction, which can take forever and cost a fortune on GoDaddy or wherever you do it. I haven't bought auction domains for years. So instead, my software, for example, will look at your top 20 SERP competitors, go through, scan them, looking for links to domains expired domains that nobody currently owns, come back with all the metrics for those. You can then decide, do your own due diligence, and I give all the training exactly on what we do. You might have your own method. I just recommend what we do here, which seems to work pretty well. So you can check through the domains, you decide if you want to buy it, and then you can buy it. And inside Blue Chip Backlinks, you can preview every single archive.org record, HTML record of that site, choose the best one, download it, add your links, and it's ready to go for hosting. You can edit it inside Blue Chip Backlinks. There's an HTML editor there. In addition to that site rebuilder function from archive.org, which is a great resource, but not perfect. So that's the first part.
Many times the things I've seen is that Wayback Machine is broken. I mean, if you get the homepage, then it's usually fine. But if you go into the inner pages, many times you can't find it.
Yeah, and because
find them, so you have to rebuild.
Yeah, you do have to do some additional fix-up work or replace or even delete those inner pages, and you might do a small number of internal page redirects based on the trust flow of those pages that you see. So, and that's actually a great way to get extra bonus out of an expired domain before you buy it, is when you put it into
Terry? Lost you there. Terry? You hear me?
So now you just multiply the value of that purchase.
Terry, but you have to go back like 20 seconds because I totally lost you. I don't know why the connection today is not working properly.
That's all right. It's Google, man. It's Google. Let's screw them. So let's say you're considering purchasing an expired domain that has a trust flow of 25, which is not bad. You click on the Pages tab in Majestic, and you see that it's got 10 or 15 inner pages that have like trust flow 12, trust flow 16, trust flow 11, etc. Now you've just multiplied the value of your purchase because you've got these inner pages that have good backlinks that you can also use. So
and you redirect them, right?
You can, start that process by using blue chip backlinks. But the thing is, then once you have those sites, you come to a big problem for us PBN guys, which is hosting. And for me, I've used pretty much every single hosting company and service ever invented in the world over the last six years or whatever. So I built my own tool that got away from the old problem of sharing IPs with other SEO guys. And the problem...
Yeah, I mean, sharing IP, like last days, I spent so many hours looking for good hosts, because if you choose SEO hosting, you're basically you pay little, but you're screwed, because they're all of the other people are just hosting PBNs.
Yeah.
Well, otherwise, if you go with like normal host, you're gonna pay a lot. If you wanna host like 100 to 200 sites, they're gonna cost you $20,000, stuff like that.
Exactly.
So what's your solution for that?
Well, my solution is to use cloud platforms, and the best solution we have at the moment, and we're just actually doing a lot of work in this area. There are two parts to it. We use Amazon S3 for a lot of hosting, and it was never meant for hosting. And if you've ever been into it's very, very difficult to use.
Do you use Amazon S3, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of other cloud platforms in there, but in terms of bang for your buck and value for money, Amazon S3 is pretty unbeatable. So we now can only handle HTML sites. It can't handle WordPress. But we also have a WordPress to HTML converter built in there if you want to do that. But you will find, apart from the cost of CloudBoss itself, which is like 50 S3 hosting slots with that, but then you add your own Amazon AWS account details, you integrate it, and you can add, if you want, 10,000 HTML sites on Amazon S3, and you'll be charged around about 10 to 30 cents per month per site that you host with them. And you don't have to pay a year ahead. There's pretty good IP diversity there. It's not as good as Amazon EC2, which is far more expensive, where you can have WordPress. And the other thing we're adding is CDN hosting. So it's almost ready. It's almost ready to go now. But in the next few weeks, that'll come out, where you're hosting your sites on Amazon CloudFront CDN. And they have a lot of IPs there as well. And you're just hosting static HTML sites. CDN costs a bit more, but S3 hosting is pretty good. We use it an awful lot here because it's just so cheap. At 10 to 30 cents per month per site, it's pretty unbeatable.
It's unbeatable. How about the IP diversity?
Yeah, it's all right that you don't get the full range of 12 million plus IPs that you do with all the other Amazon things like EC2. But it's still pretty good, and it's good enough, we found, for PBNs that are hundreds and hundreds of sites in size. Amazon was never configured for SEO hosting, so if you see like a repeated IP address, you just delete the site, takes a few seconds, reinstall it, and you'll get a different IP. It's just kind of working in bulk like that.
Every time you install a site, you get a new IP, right?
More or less, yeah, more or less. It's a bit imperfect. Sometimes usually it works. Very rarely it doesn't, so you just delete that site and reinstall it. But even with our support team, we can do that for you for anyone who gets stuck and is a bit, feels it's a bit beyond their comfort zone. It's pretty straightforward. And the good thing there, of course, is that SEOs, it's not SEO hosting. And when you're on the Amazon IP range, you're on an IP range with basically a lot of conventional real business websites.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Sure.
So CloudBoss Pro is about the hosting and automating that on a large scale, particularly when we have CDN hosting very soon, apart from Amazon S3. And you can use that platform. It's not a hosting company. It's more like a platform that connects you with, Amazon and Microsoft Azure and those other big cloud platforms, and using that for SEO hosting. But out of all of those, the cheapest by far is Amazon S3. And to be honest, you'd be nuts not to be using that one for your SEO hosting, because it's such good value for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Terry. I just spent $500 on my hosting.
Sorry about that.
for just a couple of them. And then how many hosting how many PBNs would you be comfortable putting in the same IP?
I really don't like it. If you mean the exact same IP, I don't like to do that at all. Really,
even if you're pointing to different money sites, right? You only want to get one IP, one PBN, right?
That's all right, yeah. Provided those money sites are on different IPs, preferably with different hosting companies.
Sure.
They shouldn't be on the same IP at the same hosting company or target money sites.
Sure.
Should be varied and as random as possible. So if you've got 3 money sites, for example, you might have one with us at WPX Hosting. Notice how I slipped that in very subtly there. You might have another. You might have another one at Bluehost and another one at Media Temple or whoever. That kind of thing.
Sure.
In that case, you can quarantine your, use your hosting. Yes, you can do that. You can do it. But just make sure your money sites are on different IPs with different companies, preferably.
Yeah, money sites for sure. You would be crazy to rank to have the same money site on the same IP of the PBN. I mean, that would be foolish, totally foolish. And about the hosting thing, do you believe, for example, if someone has to rank a site in Europe, for example, and first off, the backlinks, should they come only from? I mean, from Europe, it's better if the links come from Europe, or it's the same. I mean, the links can come from the USA, from Asia, as long as they are respectable links, from Australia and so on. Or if someone wants to rank a site, say in Holland, they should receive backlinks only from not only, but in the biggest part, and try to get links from Holland itself, or it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Let me give you this scenario, Alex. Who's your favorite band or singer in Italy?
Franco Battiato.
Okay, is that a guy? I don't know who. Who is it? A guy, singer?
Yeah, Battiato it's called, but no one.
So, imagine he has his own website in Italy. It's something, whatever his name is, .it. I won't try to pronounce it. So he obviously, and for whatever reason, CNN.com in Atlanta do a story on him. And they link from an incredibly trusted part of CNN.com that links to his Italian website. Do you think that Google Italy goes, we've got a link here from an extremely high authority site, but it's not from Italy, so we'll discount it. We're not going to look at that link because it's not from Italy. And when you think about the way that niche communities work now, whatever kind of offbeat community you're in, it could be gold prospecting or AC/DC fans or whatever. It's totally global, and it's normal. AC/DC, I'm Australian, they're sort of a famous Australian band. They have links from crazy amount of links from Russia and Argentina and Scotland and Africa and all this kind of thing. And of course, Google takes that all into account, and those links definitely are taken into consideration, and it looks completely normal and natural. Google's not discounting those links. So in my view, it doesn't matter, is the short answer there.
Yeah, doesn't matter, both for the money side, right, and both for the
quality of the links.
Yeah, it's only about the quality of the link. And in order to get quality of links, you need either good SEO tactics like infographics, or be able to write some guest posts for CNN and those high authority sites, or either to get expired domains from who got links from those, and then have for sure make it sustainable using maybe your tools like CloudBoss Pro and so on, in order to make it economically sustainable, because otherwise getting a bunch of expired domains and without knowing where to host them,
exactly. So I don't do infographics or guest posting because I'm too impatient for that, and I like to have control of all my links. But obviously I can't just have PBN links, so I use things like press release links a lot, because real companies do that. They have absolutely no SEO power, but they're good for naturalizing and normalizing a backlink profile.
Sure.
Yep, and they're pretty good for watering down anchor text as well. So if I know, for instance, I'm trying to rank for the phrase best WordPress hosting, I know I'm not going to use that as an anchor in my press release. I'm going to use completely different anchors there.
For sure. In order, you're going to use naked or brand anchors, right, to naturalize the stuff. How much How much would you be comfortable pushing the anchor? Like 30%? There are people telling 6-7%. Some other people telling 40%.
And I kind of have a hierarchy. I want my exact match anchors really on my highest, most powerful sites, PBNs. So there's kind of a pyramid there, Alex. So imagine I have a TF50 site. That's the one I want my exact match anchor on, and then I've got might have TF30s and TF15s. I'll be varying a lot as I go down the TF scale.
Sure, but I don't believe that the TF you got it from an expired domain. Come on, you'll either get it from an auction or you need a couple of years to get a TF50. Or maybe
well, it's top secret, Alex, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I mean, if you tell TF50 and all the people, oh yeah, for sure I can get that expired domain with TF50. It's not gonna be that easy.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the core skills I think a good SEO needs is reverse engineering, and when you get good at that, you find some what I call power links of your competitors, and sometimes they're available that you can rent. And we have reverse engineered and found TF70 plus sites where we've been able to rent links for very little money comparatively.
Yeah, to get links. I mean, you mean to get links, not to own them, right?
Not to own them, yeah, just to rent links.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Owning them, they're pretty rare, pretty hard to get.
Yeah, another level of SEO is, I mean, PR. Being good at PR, being good at talking to people, making a lot of outreach, and being able to attract those.
Yeah, I on the whole, I suck at that. I'm pretty bad at that because my time is really stretched with everything. I should do it a lot more, and I like talking to guys like you. I enjoy it a lot. It's good feedback and kind of keeps me sane, keeps me balanced in the real world a bit. But yeah, I know for me, I need to do that more, but I tend to, with my research team and all of that, we're kind of always looking for the hacks and the shortcuts, which I know is not the whole, it's not a great holistic business strategy, but it works pretty well.
How many people are trying to outrank you on the Wix competition?
Don't know yet. I don't know how, because it's relatively new, but there are a bunch of guys piling in. We see them on page 2, 3, and so on there. Yeah,
I guess there are lots of good SEOs that are trying to.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 50,000 first prize, but there are some funny things going on there, like you have to comply with Google's terms of service on backlinks. Well, you can't rank with PBNs, without PBNs and stuff like that, which is directly violating it. So even if, we'll see what happens, but even if I did win, I don't think Wix will be coughing up the 50K. Yeah, but that's all right. It's a bit of fun. It's good fun for us.
Yeah, sure. And what do you see? I mean, a little bit of the future. What do you think? Panda 4.0, Penguin 4.0. I
think the bigger threats are things like the way Google manipulates the SERP. So they got rid of that sidebar of ads, and then they changed the top ads to have 4 at the top, and then they increased the white space between those ads to push down organic results even further. So I see that as a bigger threat because people, I know from all our analytics here, people don't like to scroll. We're all kind of lazy scanners and readers. So if the organic results, especially on local, where you might have some maps or some sponsored local results or whatever with Google, you're just pushing those organic results down further. I actually see that as a bigger threat than any algorithmic change, which usually we can reverse engineer fairly quickly. And if I have to crudely summarize Penguin, for instance, it's a kind of anti-exact match anchor filter. And each time they, change it like the real-time thing, which is not real-time, I can assure you. Definitely is not. Don't believe any of that stuff. But usually they turn up the sensitivity on that exact match anchor business. But also once you have an authority site that's got a pretty decent established trust, you can actually push that exact match anchor thing a bit more, and you won't get punished for it. But I don't advocate that for newbies or less experienced guys fooling around with that stuff.
Sure. And if you
the thing is,
if you had to ask to give suggestion to a person who's just starting with PBNs and like buying the first domains and so on, how many pages would you suggest? Like, he bought a couple of domains.
Yep.
Suggest him to build up himself. He doesn't have the coders in the team. He's alone. How many pages should he build per each domain, and how many links should he direct to his money site?
I would firstly look at the pages that the domain already had that had decent trust flow from real backlinks.
Sure.
Spam comments on high TF pages.
And based on that,
look and check that isn't the case. Expired domain. So let's say it has 5 or 10 good inner pages with trust flow. Just start with that. Just rebuild those. Keep the URL the same. If you can't do that, just 301 the old URL trust flow to the new page, inner page URL. And I'd be looking to put something like 10 links on each page.
To the same money site.
Yep.
And 10 links to I would be really scared about putting 10 links to the same money site on one page.
10's nothing. Come on, man. Let's have 100. Let's go for that.
But what if a manual review comes? I mean, then you have 10 links. I mean,
then you're completely screwed.
What?
Because you're completely screwed then, because it'll be very obvious. So the thing is, as an SEO, not only do you find your own method, but you find your own risk acceptance level. Like, my risk threshold is pretty high, but other SEOs I fully accept may not have that. They might want to be more white hat. You know, for me, I'm trying to rank my own properties mainly, so I'm pretty aggressive on that. Obviously, these sites will not pass a manual review with 10 links, and particularly if I've got like a bunch of YouTube videos, it's just no way.
Do you use a little bit of tiering there? So you use them at tier 2, tier 3 and stuff like that, or you just?
I've never done it, never been interested in it, and I consider that the second tier, I'm buying the second tier when I buy the expired domain. So whatever links the domain already has, the expired domain, a PBN, the backlinks to that PBN site, that second tier, it's already there. I just paid for that, but I never do it. I never do it.
That's
but other
very
guys do. It works for them, but I don't.
Sure. And do you also use 2.0s, expired 2.0s, new 2.0s, lots of 2.0s?
Very little. And we found, for example, expired tumblers struggle to even get indexed, let alone to rank anything. So we're not big on it, except in the sense of making a money site look legitimate with its own Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and all that kind of normal stuff. But in terms of SEO, we do very little with social, just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, social isn't worth anything. For real, yesterday I was checking a domain, an URL which had like 9.7 thousand shares, and it was the most shared URL for a very important keyword. And once I put it into SEMrush, and I saw that the best performing keyword, it was like position 80 for an unrelated keyword.
Yeah.
And social signals is the biggest.
Yeah, they're weak. They're very weak. I think the main value is just to confirm with Google that the links are real and there is some kind of interest, viral interest in this site. But in terms of straight SEO power, very weak.
Sure. And what I wanted to ask you. So no second tier, no 2.0s, direct links. And I mean, if you put 10 links to your money site, you would also put like a couple of links to Wikipedia, not to some competitors, but maybe to some other authoritative resources and stuff like that.
I used to do it. I don't bother anymore. I don't bother.
So you don't even, you only link to your money site in this kind of article, and that's it.
That's it. I used to do it, Alex, but I found there was no need for it. Didn't help, didn't change anything. So we just dropped it. We just don't do it.
And do you also, if you get an expired domain, not in auctions, many times it's not indexed, do you wait before? I mean, you indexed it before, or you straight away go on and put all of the website and then you try to index and then it will pass the juice that's in it? Or before you try to index with some kind of content and then you add links after it's indexed again?
It has to pass through an indexing test, and we have a very particular technique we use for instant indexing in Google. And it also tests whether it's going to rank in your niche regardless of the anchor text going to that domain. But it's always got to pass that test of getting indexed and ranking in our niche before we add links to it. Because quite often you can see something toxic in an expired domain. There'll be something weird.
Sometimes, yeah.
Google has got against that domain, and until you see it properly indexed and with our particular method of ranking in your niche, we have kind of a twist on it. Unless we see that those are the green lights, we go ahead and build the links. And quite often we'll buy a domain that looks fantastic, but we go to index it and just will not index in Google. And if a domain cannot get indexed, there's some big problem with Google, and you've just got to either keep it for Bing only, because Bing is kind of pretty crude and it will still work for Bing, or you just move on and kind of write it off as a loss. But expired domains are never normally not indexed because they had no content, there was no website, so they're normally not indexed. It's not that they were de-indexed for a penalizing reason usually, but it's just there was no website, so Google dropped them out of the index.
Sure. And about content, how many words per page would you suggest?
400, 500 is absolutely fine.
400, 500. Everyone's talking about 2,000, 3,000 words per page.
Just to get it.
Yeah, you just have to.
One video is fine. We find one YouTube video.
Yeah, I would say that you do SEO with balls and lots of technical skills. That I guess many people they're more into PR, they're more into getting links with what's proven to work. You are on the edge of what you discover yourself, and really techniques that I've even never heard about it.
Yeah.
Like the ones.
The thing is, and because we have with my team here, we have a huge focus on reverse engineering skills, and we in the niches we're competing in, for example, WordPress hosting. I mean, those guys are doing full-on black hat tactics like we wouldn't believe, and some of them are really clever. And we've copied quite a few of them, of course.
Are they on Traffic Planet or on your own platforms?
So for example, with WPX hosting, my WordPress hosting company, we're going up against SiteGround, Bluehost, all the HostGator, those guys who've got like, I think SiteGround have got like 50 million backlinks or 300 million backlinks or something. So funnily enough, they didn't actually earn all those links. There's some black hat stuff going on. So even though guys like me may well seem like it's very black hat or whatever, when you look in the really lucrative niches, the big players are heavily into black hat, heavily doing it. Otherwise, they know they just can't compete in those niches.
Austin stuff.
A few years back, Sears, I think it was in America, got kicked out of Google for all these black hat tactics. Sears.
I can't believe it. And there, hear me? Lost you there a little bit, Terry.
Lost you.
Now I hear you back.
Okay. Good. Did I miss a question there, Alex?
Yeah. No, I guess it's fine. How many pages per website? Would you use 400, 500 words and 10 links into it? And how many pages per site if a newbie has to start?
For newbies, it's different because a lot of things are out of their comfort zone. That's why when I talked earlier, I said, just rebuild the pages that have trust flow to begin with.
Just a couple of them. Terry?
So I kind of come in with that brute force mentality, unlimited backlinks kind of thing. You there?
And
sorry, Alex, I lost you again.
yeah, I mean the connection is very, very bad, I guess.
We can really hating on us today. Sorry,
we didn't get a lucky day, but I guess I will cut the video.
Sure, sure.
And do you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I will cut the video with parts, and maybe in another one, maybe with better connection, and we can do. I mean,
we could do it on Skype or whatever. Try that, or something.
Hence, your time, whenever your time, because I really think Terry, that you are, I guess, the only guy paying advanced stuff, because I mean what you're talking about really is top notch.
Thank you.
And yeah, so I think I can stop it there. I will cut it then. I will put the links to CloudBoss, to Wayback Rebuilder, to your hosting, I guess, to Traffic Planet, right? To those 4.
Sure, thank you. Yeah.
Description, and yeah, we can talk later on Skype, like whenever you're free in the next weeks, next months, no problem at all.
Sometime in January is good, Alex.
And
the Christmas madness is over.
Of course, planning Christmas, sure.